everyone, and welcome back to Rebooked, the show where we talk about the big meaty men and women who be slapping the meat in the middle of the squared circle and the stories they tell in the process, brother. I'm, of course, the one yelling at you right now. I'm GB. We, of course, are joined by the drama king himself, Matthew Rewalt. You got to hit him with the rolling R there. And, of course, we have a guy who's starting the day off early. It's Patty's Pub's favorite son, Jake the Brain Bennett. In the house.
It's St. Patty's Day, gentlemen.
Oh, that's right. It is St. Patty's Day, right? It is. Oh, man, I'm terrible with remembering holidays. Always.
Listen, the Chicago River is green as goose shit, folks.
That is not good for the river.
Two of the best drinking holidays back to back. You got St. Patrick's Day today and 3/16 yesterday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's that was for our illustrious King Stone Cold Steve Austin, right?
That's right.
We drink many a brewski in his honor. I should have had a couple of beers. I did have a lot to drink at a Revolution. Oh man,
you did.
I invested a lot into the crypto.com arena. Yeah,
you imbibed.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. We're going to talk about our time at AEW Revolution, the Blue Light of Doom. Which, if you haven't heard about it, we'll tell you all about it because we lived it. So that was fun. We have a lot to break down on this episode because a lot has happened in WWE. We had a heel turn. I think a heel turn. Right, Phil? I mean, it looked heelish to me, but a lot of people are saying there was other things afoot. We'll talk about what's going on with Randy Orton. Then over in TNA land, guess who got their job back? It looks like in this economy, it works out well for Steve Maclin. Okay, he got his job back. Okay, so good on him. Wasn't on the unemployment line very long. We'll talk about that as well. And then AEW Revolution. Holy crap, that was a long but loaded show. So we're gonna give our thoughts on all that stuff. Before we do though, make sure you subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. If you're a YouTube enjoyer, you can subscribe. Easy. Ring the bell. I remembered. Ring the bell. Okay, so this way you get alerted whenever we upload a quick shoot.
And hey, thumbs up are more important now than ever because apparently they are removing views from videos from people who are using ad blockers.
Yeah. So if you use an ad block, like the video.
Please give us a like if you're
using an ad block.
And
it's
if
fine.
You're not, use one for us there too.
I support your means to protect your internet the way you want. So feel free, but give us a like. That's all you can do is give us a like. Okay, it's not that hard. All right, please, unbelievable. Speaking of though, our incredible viewers who just have to give us a like. I decided to go down to the well, find some comments here. We found a good one regarding: is it Cody wins or is it the start of something bigger? That actually will lead into our topic today. This comes from Michael Schroeder 8628, who says, it's not a case of LOL Cody, but a prelude to Cody's heel turn, which may be coming at WrestleMania. Oh, fellas, what do we think about that? Real quick, we don't want to get too far into it, but do you ship it or do you sell it?
That was also came from a video posted before last Friday.
Yeah.
And the comment was from before last Friday. Because before last Friday, I had, that is a cool idea that I may hope that they maybe do. And we'll, like you said, unless we're doing that right now, we can get into that discussion when we talk about SmackDown. But yeah, no, I don't see this any world where this happens now.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. I mean, listen, there's right now, especially with what happened with Randy Orton and how that whole thing kind of fell apart there. But also, I do want to note a little bit of the fan reaction was kind of weird. Did it feel like some people were like kind of cheering it on, but then some people were like not? It was very mixed,
Yeah,
for the Randy
thing. It felt very mixed. Yeah. Where like some people were like, yeah, fuck him up.
But in a good. But I think that's good. I think so too.
I think so too. We'll talk about why in a little bit, but I do think that is a good thing as well. I agree with you on that. We do have one more fan comment. This is from Obi-Wan is cool. Longtime viewer of the show says the idea of facing the Hangman in a Texas death match just sounds correct. He also needs reason to be called the Hangman, and having him hang people in those matches fits, just like the Undertaker in a casket match. But just like the Undertaker in a casket match didn't have a clean record, as we now have learned. Ooh, man. Still can't believe this happened. But I also do want to say, before we even start the show, at the beginning of the match, Jake filmed me, and he said, "This is for your 24/7 championship rights." He wanted my pred, and I said it. My whole chest, 10 toes down. That MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, the pride of New York. Okay? Listen here, you damn scum of LA. All right?
New York sucks.
Dude,
New York sucks.
there were so many people booing New York. I was so disgusted. I couldn't participate in those chants.
It was amazing.
It was terrible.
Amazing being able to do it right into Jimmy's
Jake
ear.
just kept pointing. He just kept pointing at me. He was like, "Hey, everyone is a New Yorker right here." Unbelievable. So I still have my 24/7 championship rights.
At least you're not from Chicago, like
Ain't
this.
that right? That like
this
this
douche
bum,
over here,
like this casserole tasting bum over here.
Oh no! Any major city in the country is like a 3-hour flight or less away. Oh my God!
Damn you and your adequate geography. Okay, how dare you? Unbelievable. Anyway,
our streets don't have trash on them. Oh, that's not cool.
The trash adds character. Okay, it adds character.
The trash is the people. That's what it is. The trash in Chicago is the people.
You take that back, that's Alabama. You take that back right now. We don't want to get into Alabama. All right.
Yeah, we're not touching that one.
No, but seriously, lots to talk about today. So
that's right. You don't want to touch it because we got guns.
That's actually very true. Well, actually, we have guns in the Bronx as well. It's just they don't really want us to have the guns out there. It's a little bit of a difference. We're not following the Second Amendment, so they say. So let's go ahead and dive into this, guys, because wow, what a week of wrestling. We're gonna pocket Revolution for a little bit later on. Let's talk about WWE real quick, because I admittedly, because I've been traveling so much, I just have been very much away from everything that's been going on. Haven't been following as much. And the limited time I had, I decided I just wanted to watch like AEW, catch TNA. So put time into that. But I was really surprised with the turn of Randy Orton, the change that they went with this. Randy wins the Elimination Chamber. And as he is, and Jake, you and I were talking about this before, as he was mercilessly beating the crap out of Cody, it really became a matter of him saying it wasn't supposed to be this way, right? And it was very clear that the intention was that he wanted to save that Viper essence, that whatever he had left for Drew, and Drew's not getting it now. Instead, it's going to be Cody. But why still commit? I guess is the thing that I'm curious about, knowing that it's your friend on the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I know friends in a singles match.
It's true.
When that bell rings, there's not any friends.
Yeah.
Friends was over. And Cody even said that.
Yeah.
Cody even said that. When the bell rings, there's no friends. Outside the ring, that's a different thing. But the problem is Randy doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Randy doesn't know how to do that. He cannot turn it off. Like he just can't. He and this is kind of what we talked about, what we expected to be the path, and I think it still is with Swerve Strickland, is Randy doesn't know any other way to win than to be that Viper.
Yeah.
And he's probably felt like, hey, I haven't held this title in a while, and I'm one of the GOATs, and I want to get number 15. And you can't be a Viper without a little venom.
Yeah.
And he had to turn it on. And he hates that he had to do it. I think that's what was so great about the segment. He's sitting there in that chair with this blank stare on his face, his arms covered in Cody's blood, with the title in his lap, and he just has a blank stare where he's just like, I didn't want to do this, and I still don't, but it's the only way I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's awesome. I think it's a wonderfully complex decision, especially for WWE, who very much likes to just deal in black and white a lot of times with some of their, with their faces and their heels.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the complexity that this shows, and that's why I think that the reaction from the crowd was so good, because they didn't know how to feel.
Yeah.
And we've all been cheering Randy for so long, and we haven't really seen this side of him in a minute. And we, sure, like, we all want it, but we don't like where it's pointed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think it's interesting.
I think that's beautifully complex for the audience as well as Randy. And I think in his later tenure, I think like this is something like this could be a really beautiful like character arc and story for Randy if they do it right. So I'm really excited to see what comes of it for his sake.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think like, because what would this be? Championship number for him? 16?
This would be 15.
15.
I'm pretty sure he has 14.
Yeah. No, I mean, I makes
I'll
you
double check.
Makes you like kind of wonder, just like what the I want him to hit 15. I think that'd be good. I think he's been doing the, good guy thing for a minute now. So
14.
Confirmed. So this will be 15 if he wins this. So I think that this works. I think we were also always waiting for that other shoe to drop as well with Randy Orton, right? Like that always was the, like when he had the feud or had his thing with Kevin Owens when they were like teaming up, we were like, oh, Randy's going to turn on Kevin Owens, or, there was always like this like thought of it being that way. But I guess
now
go for it.
On Raw, by the way, we saw Randy on the phone with somebody saying, thank you for showing me who Cody really is, or something to that effect.
He was saying, I saw
you helped me see the light when it comes to Cody
weeks ago and stuff like that. He was very, very, very vague, and he just ended. He's like, I just connected with someone who reminded me of who I am. I'm a killer, and that, hey, wrestling doesn't only have one. He quoted Cody's song, One Royal Family. So I can't wait for the cast and Bob Orton to come back out, and let's just redo the Undertaker feud from 2004 or whatever it was, 2005. I love it. Let's do it 20 years later.
Yeah.
But no, so there is something really interesting, and Jake kind of was more or less in the same zone that I am, and then I do want to read something that I don't know that they listen to our show, but I've seen their stuff pop up on the cesspool of Twitter, but they used to be like a Twitch viewer of mine, so they're just kind of like in my circle of people.
Yeah.
And they had an interesting take that I thought was good for us. And really quickly, the verbatim opening thing here was, I feel like it's important to note that Orton claimed Cody didn't seem to fully grasp the gravity of the situation because Randy, like Jake said, like Swerve, like that kind of a character, needed to win the WWE Championship. But we brushed over pretty quickly that he said Drew was supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So the idea that like this was going to happen regardless.
Correct.
I didn't want it to be you. I knew I was going to have to turn this up to 12.
If I wanted this.
At this point in my career, I'm going to have to dig up this old bastard that I thought I buried. You know what I mean? That I was happy being the long tenured, legendary kind of like, he's on his last couple of years, you know that, and he's so over, so storied, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But he's like, if I want to pull this one more up, I have to do this. The theory goes on to claim that maybe Randy dropped Jacob Fatu, which knowing he would chase Drew and then blah, blah, blah. And the whole idea being like, get to Drew. But I don't know about that. But I do like that idea of like,
I don't hate
This
it.
wasn't personal. You know what I mean? This isn't. I'm worried based a little bit on that Monday Night Raw like video interview thing they did, that promo. I think they're gonna skew away from the kind what Jake and I are talking about of this
Yeah.
like, you're collateral damage, buddy. I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. I love you, but I'm caving your head in.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna lean more straight heel. Like he's just gonna be turned into an evil bastard and like, screw you, Cody. I don't need you as a friend. And I think they're gonna do that. It can work. They can go to a real nasty place or whatever it is, but I would rather they stay on the not personal. I know some people say that's less interesting, but between these two, I
I
think
disagree.
that is
disagree.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. But I will say though that bringing that story with Kevin Owens, if that is the person, because who had the most issues with Cody prior, it was him, right? He was like by far the one that was like from the get-go was just like, this dude's a snake, and was like so quick to call it out. So I don't mind the idea of Kevin being in it, but I wish that I just hope that they continue to commit to that line, though, of reasoning that was like, no matter what, I had to do this, but I feel less guilty because I was told by someone who I trust the truth, and now I'm not as held back anymore. Maybe that could be how this kind of trickles as well, right? Maybe you go in that direction where it's like, this was going to happen regardless, but I hesitated when I found out it was you, but then a friend told me, don't hesitate because he won't hesitate against you, like just do it. So I don't know, maybe that could be a direction they go to, but I fear you might be right though, Matt, where like they'll just divert to what is the cleanest narratively, like what they can explain to like a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old on TV, like why Randy Orton like changed, because you gotta like make it, you can't get too complex. I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't, we're not talking Shakespeare here. This is, I mean, even though we can't get close sometimes, dear Lord, with the way that some of these stories go inadvertently. But this one though, I mean, regardless, it's still exciting.
Before we move on,
go for it.
I feel like I just need to like vomit this into the ether.
Please do. I support it.
Because there's I know, like, all right, so I joked about Bob Orton. No, I don't think Bob Orton is getting involved. I did think for a second, are they going to try Ted DiBiase Jr.?
Oh, shit.
I thought that too, yeah.
But I'm like, that would not get it. Half the crowd wouldn't even recognize him at this point. And he might be in jail. I don't remember. He had some trouble.
Here comes trouble.
I wonder, like, I've said it for weeks now. And I don't think it's going to happen in my heart of hearts, just that WWE won't pull this trigger, but it could. And I'm still figuring out how it would play given that phone call and everything. But where in all of this is the Sami Zayn of it all? He keeps hovering around this whole picture without a clear direction. He's clearly disgruntled. He's a little irritated. He's been upset with Cody. He's confronted Jacob Fatu as well, but he keeps having these arguments with Cody about you keep getting these opportunities, you keep getting that. And then Cody calls his bullshit, which is, good on a good babyface because he is turning into that whiny, complainy guy.
Yeah.
And then it was also 2 weeks ago, maybe disconnected, but Randy and Sami Zayn had a moment where Randy goes, you got to lean into your own voices. So I think there's a heel move for Zayn coming soon. I thought it might be separate. Like you could shoot him off into it probably will be, but there's part of me that's like, does Sami Zayn help Randy Orton win the world title at WrestleMania?
I mean, if you need
some wild thing, I don't have enough pieces yet, but I'm
it could be a good substitute for Owens.
Well, maybe. until he said the thing about there's more than one royal family, I thought he could have been talking to Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
That was one who I had originally
Which I wouldn't rule out, obviously not wrestling, but Kevin, I know he's going to be at, they just announced he'll be at signing at Mania and stuff. So he's able to
So
be
he'll
around.
be present.
But he can also, and maybe in the lead up, if he's able to travel, can do promos. He could come, film something with Randy or somebody. But yeah, that would be
very interesting. No, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I am intrigued by this direction. Yeah, I feel like really quick before we move on, we have to just a quick poll. There was a group, like our commenter said at the beginning of the show, that thought, oh, this is the moment for Cody to turn. Maybe Cody will turn on Randy at WrestleMania. Big Homelander Cody run coming. I thought that could have been a possibility and really interesting, but seeing where we're going now, did they make the right move? I want to ask the panel.
I think so. Yeah, because you see, here's the thing, right? I think that you can make the case. I like the angle of, like, remember when MJF came back and it was like, you cheered for him, you cheered for Swerve, you cheered for this person and Will Ospreay over me or whatever, right? I kind of like the idea of Cody coming back, maybe being a little bitter to the fact that, like, after all he sacrificed, all he gave up for WWE, they booed him, or they cheered it on when Randy Orton was brutalizing him. Like, I think that's interesting. But the problem is, and to kind of step away from the narrative side of it, is you got to address the elephant in the room. This literally is like how things went at AEW. This is like not beat for beat, but we're getting pretty dang close. Where, like, Cody had the big match. He won. Like, the difference here is he won the title versus an AEW he didn't, and he kind of did the Hangman, which was the Cody, which of course was like, if I lose, I'll never challenge for the title again. So he kind of screwed himself there. Not the case here. So obviously, like, narratively, it's not the same thing, but the way that the fans, weirdly enough, are just turning on him again, it's just kind of bizarre. And it feels like it's exactly what happened in AEW. Like, they just turned on him and it was never able to get him back. So do you lean into the bad guy stuff? I think you could. I don't think it's like a bad thing to lean into it. But apparently Cody, I don't know, hopefully he doesn't hold that same perspective, that he doesn't want to turn heel. Yeah, I don't know. Jake, what do you think?
Who's your mega babyface then?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that.
If it's not Cody,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my issue. I think is, I don't think that he has to turn heel, but I like the idea of him getting some grit.
Yeah, I don't want him to turn heel. By the way, I just
some more
be clear.
Toughness,
yeah,
because, like, he even said that with Sami, where, like, Matt was talking about, where Cody was just like, he's like, dude, what is you do nothing but bitch.
Yeah.
Like, and him just calling him out, I really liked that a lot, because, a lot of baby faces had been like, oh, hey man, it's okay, and your time will come, and whatever. And it'd be some inspirational horse shit. But Cody was just like, bro, you're here because you are here. You got yourself here. You've put yourself in this spot. Quit bitching and figure something out. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, man, but you're not going to be handed shit. Just come in and take it. Like, I appreciate him saying that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that it may have repercussions if Matt's theory is correct, that, there could be some very serious ramifications come from what Cody has said, and maybe in a just kind of snap moment of, just his frustrations came out. I think the idea of continuing to present Cody as a flawed hero is good.
I agree.
Need more of that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I thought, actually, like, that's what I was saying. I don't want Cody to turn heel. I actually like exactly what you said, Jake. I want to see that grit. I want to see a different version of the good guy Cody, like evolve, right? Change it up, right? No, you don't have to do the suits anymore or the bright colored jackets. Find a new, and he tried this in AEW as well. Like that was the dark haired Cody when he came back, and it was like little different, little, but it was still similar because he was still wearing the suits and he was still doing the same thing. Maybe he doesn't fully go away from that because I'm sure he enjoys wearing that clearly. But yeah, I don't know. Like I just would like to see a little bit more of a change that takes him in a darker turn that doesn't necessarily make him a bad guy, but it awakens a different gear within Cody, a different edge. Different Adam Copeland.
It's like when Captain America became Nomad.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
Paints his suit black, gets rid of the imagery, where he's like, I'm not doing this because of an allegiance to something. I'm doing it because it's right.
Yeah.
And I may catch shit for that, but who cares? I'm doing the right thing. Like if Cody had that attitude of where he's like, I understand that people may not like who I am and how I do things, but this is who I am. I'm going to stick to it. You can boo me if you want, but like doing the right thing is hardly ever the easy path.
Yeah.
And if booing is what I have to live with, so that I can sleep at night, then I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that's where they're going.
Yeah.
That's my, because my fear is that WWE does have a tendency to lean too much onto the, like, and I don't blame them, to like just what works, right? Like maybe not like go, even though they were, feels like they've kind of regressed. It's been odd. I don't know how, if anyone else feels the same way, because like as we were talking about with this Randy thing, where we were hoping that they would go in this direction, but instead it kind of feels like it's just going to go more into like I don't like you anymore, kind of angle. I hope that they are okay with taking just a little bit more of a risk, because I think their audience is capable of handling it, right? I don't know.
I agree.
And you know what I will say though, it has also quickly become a very interesting story going into Mania. And I'm very happy about that because I was feeling like for a while, we were constantly talking about like, WWE Championship is in a weird spot right now. We'll see what happens. Randy, really, but now that we're on this course, I'm quite excited. I'm looking forward to this match between Randy and Cody. They're both phenomenal wrestlers, so they're going to deliver an incredible match. But now I'm like, okay, narratively, I'm also in as well. This change was good because there were a lot of people I was seeing was like, oh, you have all these faces fighting for the championship. Something's got to give, and turns out something did give. At the very least for the WWE Championship storyline. Meanwhile, though, for the World Championship storyline, little different. They are, I guess, like right now, it's been still the mind games. It seems like between Punk and Roman seem to continue to be festering here. Are we still interested in this story the way that we were at the beginning of it? In comparison, I guess my question, in comparison to what we're getting now from Drew and Cody on the WWE side of things, Matt?
This is going to sound weird, especially how we talked about like the early days. For this week, and it could all change next Monday or whatever. I am way more interested in this now than I was when it first was announced or first
Roman and Punk.
Yes.
Okay.
The promos have been okay. They were a little weird with the, like we talked about the Punk thing with the mentioning Sika and like, hey, your dad's dead and I'm going to bury you next to him too. Which was weird. And like, but so to the point you just made, this is not a clear good guy bad. They're both kind of assholes.
Yeah, they're both dickheads. Yeah.
Like, which it can be tough because it's kind of like if you really break it down into like what they're saying to it, it's like, you guys both suck. Roman's being kind of an arrogant dick. Punk is taking some low blows that he doesn't need to take. Roman's just screwing with him back. And so it's kind of like you both kind of suck. It's kind of like a dick measuring contest in a way.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, just you're the woman who, like, the audience is the woman that the two dudes are fighting over in the 90s comedy. And it's like, she's at some point you risk that woman, or, you know, in that scenario, just being like, I'll let you idiots fight it out. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
That said, though, I do like the ambiguity of it, that it's not, all right, here's our heel who low-blowed CM Punk and is beating him to a bloody pulp. We have that. Here you have this kind of two really popular guys at various points in their career, very recently as well.
Yeah.
Extremely popular with extremely over, big baby faces. But now they're really chopping each other low. And then this week, I'll bring it. Scan brought forward, you know, the thing that Punk says the weird thing about Roman's dad. And then this time, Roman, who did a good job, I think, clapping back. The thing that set Punk off was calling him old.
Yeah.
Which seems so like, that's it, you know, in all this. But like, he's like, it kind of works because it's like,
it does.
This is his last run. Nobody's kidding anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, and you've hit the brick wall, Phil. You know what I mean? I'm the brick wall. Sorry, old timer. Like, you had what you gave what you gave. And it's not, and it's like, I think the man inside the character of CM Punk probably feels like he could go 5-6 more years, maybe. I don't know, but is insecure about the fact that maybe he knows that he can't. And so Roman calling that out really triggered him. And I guess off camera, or not off camera, but off mic, because the thing Roman said was he can sit there and run his mouth, but he can't take it. You say one thing and he snaps. Who's in whose head now? And it's kind of true. Punk is master of the mic. And it whips up all these isms. And then Roman hits him with the, okay, old man.
Yep.
Bam. Firecracker.
That was
and
it.
So there is something that is a insecurity many of us in this podcast could maybe relate to.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree.
I'm starting to feel it. We're like a decade younger than Punk, but like I'm starting to feel it in a lot of weird ways every day. I was like, oh crap, can't do that.
I know.
Anymore.
I would kill to feel 50 again.
Jake's in the right age of 75. He just looks really good. You can't tell. No, I like that he called Punk old, because I think that, and I'd like to see this kind of become more of a narrative thing that we lean more into, but it's no like mystery, or it's, you know, it shouldn't come a shock to anyone that the generation that, you know, preceded these folks kind of hung on a little longer than I think a lot of people had, you know, like probably they should have, you know, probably their bodies were allowing them to, for in a lot of these instances. And I think that like a lot of these guys, I remember even talking to Creed about it, Woods, he would oftentimes mention just how like, you just don't want to be, you know, like in your 50s still taking bumps in a dark match and like, you know, trying to like still rekindle that moment. You want to like go out when it's good, when it's a good time for you to like go out. And Punk, you know, was gone. Like he was gone. Like he was done with wrestling, comes back for like the last hurrah tour, and the last hurrah tour did not work out the way he wanted to in AEW. So then he, you know, hightails it over to WWE, and hey, it's working out over here, but this is it. Like this like it does feel like that. It feels a little like Brian's last run in AEW, where like you saw this match and you're just like, this is the last time we're gonna watch this match happen, like for sure, you know. And it kind of feels like this could very well be the case. But I don't know, though. I struggle with that because CM Punk is putting some of the best work of his career out right now. Like he's doing some damn good matches. It's been fun to watch. It's been a great reign. So I don't know if I necessarily subscribe to that belief. But But I don't know, Jake, do you have a different read on it?
No, I pretty much agree with both of you. They're both acting like high schoolers from different schools who never liked each other, who only ever met on the basketball court, and now they're meeting in the mean streets of WWE, and now they're like, I don't know, it just feels so it feels so high school to me a little bit.
It does.
The way that they're behaving with each other. But I don't know. I don't know that you asked at the beginning, are you more or less interested now? And I think neither. I think I'm just kind of like, I think I'm just kind of in the middle where I'm just like, okay, well, let's just keep seeing where this goes. If it's just going to be name calling, or if this is going to get somewhere more complex than that, because it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere necessarily, and we have 4 weeks left.
That was my thing. I'm like,
until
I like some of the
WrestleMania.
promos, but how do you ramp this up?
That's what I'm saying. So is it just going to get 4 more weeks of
just
like
someone's got to snap?
Duty head. You're an old man.
Someone has to snap, right?
And more than Punk did on Monday. Not just that. Not just a swing and a knock him down. There needs to be an event that like raises the stakes, or raises some.
Do the Usos get involved more? Like, is that a thing that we would even want to see? Because it feels so bloodliney. It's like,
I don't think so. I mean, aside from, that one moment with them, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Or a week ago, whatever it was. Because even they just were like, they kept saying this has nothing to do with Roman Reigns. This has nothing to do with Roman Reigns. So I hope that stays the case, because if so, I think it's a nice wrinkle. Otherwise, it's like, I don't want to just, reheat the leftovers of the bloodline.
Yeah.
Like give us something else.
Yeah.
Give us something new.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I think we're waiting on that new, what that looks like. But a couple things I just wanted to kind of run through before we move forward, because there were some cool bits that did happen. We had Penta with Dragon Lee having a great match for the IC title. That was just good to see Penta doing the thing that we all knew he was always bound to do, which was just put on some fantastic matches. I think he's going on a very Gunther-esque type run with that IC title. Should be having some big matches, probably hold that thing for a while. We also had a final declaration for Brock Lesnar. Obafemi is going to challenge Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Holy shit.
And that was pretty epic. And Obafemi is,
dude, that was that whole moment when the lights go out and everybody's like, oh, who's going to answer? And then Oba's music hits. Dude, when he's coming out and everybody's chanting Oba and they cut to Brock's face, where Brock's looking around, where he's like, whoa, what the hell is this? Like, this is how these people are reacting to this guy. Like, and he's built like a brick shit house. I mean, he's enormous, and he comes walking down to the ring and gets in there. Like, that crowd was so hyped. Oba is Ova.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
I mean, big time. And then he picks up Brock Lesnar like a child. Like I would pick up my nieces and nephews before I throw them on a bed or, body slam them on a couch. He did that with 300-pound Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Picked him up like a child and then shattered the earth with his spine. That was awesome. It was so awesome. And then As Brock lays on the ground, he has the presence of mind to tell Oba, put your foot on me.
Yeah.
And Oba stands on him and poses. Holy shit. What a moment.
Dude,
I am hyped for this match now. Hyped.
It is a testament to, look, we've made our opinions on Brock as
Damn good
as a
wrestler.
human. We don't like a lot of things we've read, heard.
Hey, inside those ropes, he's awesome.
He's incredible. And like, it's just like the idea of this is where like protecting your crap pays off.
Yeah.
Think about, like, this is a weird thing because Brock's put a couple people over in the last several. He put Cody over, but number one, they're only really top stars.
They're
course.
mega star. Yeah. But not
two,
young guys.
It's a little thing. It's a little thing, but how many guys have not bumped Brock? You know, Braun Strowman's bumped Brock Lesnar, you know, but are like manhandle him. Brock doesn't let. He's been chokeslammed by The Undertaker, AA from Cena, people like that, you know, where he gets picked up and tossed. Moves like, no, even Cody's was only the Cody cutter or whatever, the Crossroads.
Yeah, right.
But the people who he lets, because Brock's athletic, he could jump up for a power bomb for anybody that wanted to do it. Drew McIntyre, anybody. But when have you ever seen Brock agree to a spot like that to get tossed up like a baby?
Oh, yeah.
Because again, that's Brock too. That's the two-man thing. It's just like, this is like the wrestling thought of it is like, I don't let anybody bump me like this.
Right.
But this guy lets do it. Not only that, but the full last ride.
The full.
You never, ever.
Fall from grace.
Maybe I did the Shield do the triple power bomb to Brock? Probably.
Yeah.
But that was three men.
That was three guys.
So like, again, protecting how Brock is bumped and tossed for a decade plus pays off with moments like this.
I think Brock sees a lot of himself in Oba.
Young, like a college athlete with a ton of athleticism, a kind of an X factor sort of thing who just really teach.
Who just oozes aura.
Yeah. Really does.
It just presence. Like Oba's got it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, I'm so hyped for this match now. Like I'm so very excited for it. I can't wait. Like,
I hope they let these guys do the thing. Let them beat the crap out of each other. Let them.
I mean, bro, this is Godzilla King Kong.
It's gotta be that way. And
I mean, because
you're not gonna get like. I think about it like this, right? You're not going to get many opportunities to do this match. So you might as well do it now and do it right. And I don't think Oba should win. I actually think Brock should find a way to win or to squeak out. Yeah, I actually think so, because I think one of the problems that Oba had in NXT was that he just was so damn strong. But when he lost, it had to happen in like a triple threat. Like, I think that's how Ricky Saints won the title, right? Like, it needed to happen in like those ways, right? Or did he sneak the win on him?
He just hit him with like 5
or he hit him with like a whole shit ton. Like he just he had to do like the whole thing for it, right? It takes a lot to like pin Oba. I like the idea of him just being very dominant early on, right? Doing his thing. Lesnar squeaks a win away just because it's Lesnar and he does that. You don't need Oba to necessarily win because it's going to look like a dominating force no matter what. That's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. And you guys are going to be really mad when I'm right.
I could not disagree more.
I will put up my 24/7 title contention rights at WrestleMania if Oba doesn't win.
Okay, all right. All right, he's in. He put it up.
As long as I have blue underwear on, I will never compete for the 24/7 title if Oba loses.
That's fine.
Fair.
And you know what? If he does, we are doing
underwear check.
We're doing a check before every show.
We have to. Yeah, no, it's true. This guy's got the blue. Come on, damn it! Unbelievable.
Look, I think Oba needs to go on a freaking run. I want him. I want him to have a Goldberg-esque just
Oba's going to be the
dominating
champion
streak.
next year into WrestleMania 100%.
Oh man.
So here's the thing, GB. As wrestling's fixed, wins and losses don't matter except for when they do. And this is a situation because this is not a story match. This is not a narrative where you go, oh, the nasty heel.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
This is about a win.
This is power v power. Yeah.
No, you're not wrong.
The new beast on the market.
The win is the story.
Yeah.
I don't
The win is the
guys,
story.
I do not disagree with you, but we are talking about WWE.
I don't think you're going to get a follow-up with Brock, next month at Backlash to get his win back.
I definitely don't think it'll be that. No. If anything, it'll be like,
I don't even think you're going to get him back at Summer, so I think you just beat him.
I thought he had a
disagree.
great match. I thought he had a great match with Rusev, and the fact that it just ended with him just throwing him around and pinning him 1, 2, 3, like I just feel like Oba's the future, dude. Like he just is.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, he's awesome.
Yeah. See, I'm so confident that GB is wrong here. And I know you said you want it. This is where you think they're going to go with it. I think you're so wrong because not only do I think Oba will win, I think because you can kind of clearly tell that Brock is all on board with putting this kid over.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's true. Yeah.
So
are you thinking a Suplex City style squash of Lesnar?
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I love it.
I'd rather see the Godzilla clash and just back and forth. I agree, but
yeah,
it would be wild to hear like F5 out, toss him, attempt an F5 out, toss him over the rope, attempt an F5 again, go to powerbomb, bang, bang, bang,
or he gets, or the first thing in the match, Brock gets him up in an F5, hits him with an F5, and Oba stands right back up.
Yeah, or he just kicks out, or he kicks out at 1. Or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then just stands up.
Brock matches are never
the
one thing to give him. Brock matches are never regular wrestling matches. It doesn't start with boom, headlock, shoot him into the ropes, tackle, drop down, couple arm drag. It always starts off a wild brawl, a finish right off the bell, whatever it is. It's always
he runs, delivers a big knee, starts wailing on him in a corner, all that shit. Yeah, it's going to be an all-out assault.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that one.
I can't freaking.
No, it's going to be awesome.
Contest.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm stoked for it too. I think it's going to be if it goes the way that we all want it to go. I'm just fearful of WWE doing what WWE does best, which is the not smart thing.
Tripping over their own dick.
Tripping over their own dick when clearly they should have just kept it in their pants. Big things real fast happening over in TNA land because Steve Maclin got his job back. He will fight Mike Santana for the title at Sacrifice. This has been a great story. TNA's best story. Maclin had an awesome promo that brought him back to the company. I'm liking. There are a lot of things that I'm enjoying the dynamics of TNA developing little by little, like Daria Ray's presence and her just constantly being a nagging thorn in the side of Santino, how that has continued to develop. This was Daria's decision, I believe, was to bring Maclin back, right? Or am I understanding that right?
Yeah, me and Jake had this discussion last week. Like, this is my one issue with how this, now that we're here, like, it's good, but I think there was a missed beat in the authority figures roles in Maclin's reinstatement. Because they probably should have been at each other's. They should have been opposing forces. The way it played out, but the way it played out was Daria was just like, "Oh, he's reinstated," and then Santino's like, "Yes, that's great," and let's give him a title match. Okay,
right.
And there was no conflict. It was a really weird crossed wires. I don't know if something happened, and I didn't like that. But so I'm just gonna wipe it from my memory, kind of thing, and go from here.
Yeah,
So it is what it is. The guy got everything he ever could have wanted from breaking every rule possible and being an absolute asshole to one of his best friends. So yeah, crime wins, folks. That's kind of the message we ended up sending.
Mhm.
Oh well,
Yeah.
we did get out of it this week, and I told him I think Maclin did one of his best promos. I
Yeah.
like him cutting into. I like a justified heel, who
Yeah.
has a little bit of truth, even though he's being a dick about that truth, and which is what makes him a real bad guy. About how like Steve's got demons and like things and stuff that he has overcome and has had to live through to get where he's at, and he doesn't talk about them a lot. The way Mike Santana's character does, who's very open with his struggles and where he's been, and so Steve kind of accused him unfairly, as a heel does, of Mike, oh, you're using that for sympathy. You use your kid, you use your sobriety, you use all this struggle. I don't whine, I don't complain. And it's like, you're such a dick, Maclin, but like you're not inherently wrong. You
Yeah.
don't burden anyone else with that stuff, although it is okay to talk.
Yeah. That's the important thing. It's
so,
like,
like,
it's all right.
yeah, blurring that kind of realness instead of just being like, ha ha, I'm so evil and I will defeat you for your. I like just that like blurring of and adding layers, blurring of lines kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I know we took a lot of time on WWE, so I don't want to belabor
No.
this.
I did want to say though, it did get me thinking about what comes out of this, and I don't think that we see Santana losing the title here. I don't want that to happen, but I am curious how this anger continues to fester for Maclin, because I think Santana, will win that match, and I'm hoping that Maclin. I'm hoping that this is just one of many, and that this is like the start of Maclin like really pushing Santana and like one of like a big feud for him. Maybe he wins at the end of this, maybe he doesn't, but I don't think it's Sacrifice we see Maclin winning the title, unless they wanted to go with that whole, the same thing that they did with Hangman, which is, you did all this, you won it, you pushed, you forced everything to happen, and then every time you had to defend it, you crumbled, right at the start of the race. You crumbled, like maybe that could be a thing that they roll with Santana here. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I like this, and I like Maclin becoming like a, embittered bad guy as well within the roster. More of those, to join Frankie Kazarian and Nick Nemeth and, all of those embittered bad guys who want their title. But it's good, and
Yeah.
And you just want more wrestlers to just constantly push for the championship, right? That's the belt's got to feel important. Everyone's got to, push and fight for it. And we're definitely getting that, right? I mean, the sharks are swirling around Santana as it stands. So, there's definitely going to be a lot of direction. There's also one other thing I wanted to touch on before we move on with TNA. I really like the Moose versus the System storyline right now, and I thought that match with Moose and Cedric Alexander was freaking awesome. I enjoyed, because I was thinking you just don't see Cedric Alexander in those types of matches all that often. He's always the guy that's doing the athletic, quick, bits and all that.
X-Division match.
The X-Division style match, exactly. I mean? But here he did this hardcore match, and I felt like this was as much of a match to make Cedric feel like a big deal than as it was Moose getting one over on a member of the System, because it was just great to see Cedric in this kind of an environment. And it really made me feel like, oh yeah, now I'm excited to see Cedric go for those tag titles. Now I'm excited to see the System start to build up a little bit more with this new roster. And I just thought it was like a great matchup between two phenomenal wrestlers, but fun because they beat the shit out of each other. Holy crap. That was great. I was all about that, man. So yeah, Jake, anything else you wanted to add on TNA before we move on, or
no, man. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying TNA. Yeah. The stories are getting better and better. We're seeing more and more from them. And yeah, like I mean, again, this is just it's a great time to get on board TNA. Better time than it has been a long time because they're on fucking AMC.
Yeah, I've been
Like,
DVRing it now, and
if
it's
you
so
haven't
great.
been DVRing it at the very least, and yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's been great. Yeah, I'm
That's what I used to do for
I'm super excited about
Dynamite before they started doing the HBO Max stuff. Because like I only watch it on
Mhm.
HBO Max now. Like I don't really see a reason to watch much on TV.
Right.
But then when I remembered, I was like, I gotta freaking make sure I'm like DVRing Impact. Then I finally did, and I have all these episodes now. So I've just been playing all sorts of catch up since I was away. So yeah, it's been great. It's seriously like no reason not to check it out. And you got just more wrestling, which is always lovely. Speaking of more wrestling, there was a lot of wrestling on Sunday because AEW. Listen, we argue about this all the time, but I got my money's worth, baby. That was a long night of wrestling. But Jake was there. There were moments where Jake looked at me. He was like, "We have 5 more matches to go." I knew that's when he was fading. All right, Revolution, fellas. What a show. Jake and I had established this. Matt, curious your perspective here. This just felt like their very clear, like number 2 show. This felt like this is like they're treating this LA show as a big show, not as big as All
Like
In.
this felt like their SummerSlam.
Yeah. It felt like a SummerSlam type of show. Curious what you guys think in the comments. But what do you think, Matt?
I was literally just thinking about this a few minutes ago, and I was like, they've done a great job. I see what you mean about this. I do think Revolution as a brand, as a show, has kind of stepped into that role a little bit. However, I one thing I'll give AEW credit for is outside of All In clearly being their big show, usually a stadium show of some kind. I feel like they've done a good job of every other pay-per-view generally feels like a big deal. Like, I mean, even what do you call it? Like Dynasty feels like a big, some Wrestle Dreams felt like it's a big deal. Full Gear feels like a big deal. All Out often feels like a really big deal. You know, the pay-per-views, they usually deliver and they feel like big deals. But I will say Revolution in the last couple of years, I think since was it 2 years ago with the Sting retirement?
Yeah.
Was Revolution?
Yeah, that was Revolution.
That one, and then last year's, and then this year's have all kind of felt extra. I mean, Double or Nothing too feels like often. Sometimes it's a really big one. Like last year, that's where Hangman was crowned #1 contender and stuff. So, they do a good job of the pay-per-views feeling big. I think that's why even when they do TV somewhere and it's smaller and people want to point out empty seats and BS like that, but their pay-per-views always fill up generally because
it was a sold out crowd.
it's a really, I mean, LA is
a
wonderful market, of course, but like, yeah, like I think they do a great job with all their pay-per-views, but Revolution feels like it's definitely stepped up.
Yeah, no, it was a wild show.
Still too long. Still too long.
I disagree. I had a great time. I enjoyed every single.
Still too long.
Every match was.
There were 3 matches that should have been cut. A whole hour should have been cut from that show.
100%.
Yeah, I probably feel like and I agree. I think like the Bandito Andrade matchup, you probably could have saved that one for a different big show. If you wanted to do it, because then you could have done it for maybe like the Ring of Honor Championship or something like that. Dogs versus Darby, but
the Tornado Trios.
I think we talked about this as well. This kind of felt like, because Andrade came in a couple weeks ago, a little while ago, but he kind of emerged. And I think they just wanted to make sure he had a match on the card. And then they just got the Dogs, like on Finlay and all those guys signed up. I don't think they would have been on the card if Finlay wasn't signed and they had all 3 of them. So they probably just was like, yeah, we'll just do this matchup. I don't think they should have. I agree with that. I enjoyed the matches still because I still enjoyed the matches. They were great to watch, but I agree in that it definitely didn't need to be that many matches. And there were some that
I don't think the women's tag was really. I mean, it kind of was a squash.
Yeah.
It was a whole story thing, but like I don't know. It just felt like something else that wasn't really.
Yeah, like they set that one up interesting. I don't know if I
with 0 hour.
Yeah, I don't know how, like, because that one kind of came up out of nowhere, right? Like Willow was like, yeah, I'm gonna challenge for I'm gonna double champ, so I'm gonna put out the challenge, Lena Cross, if you want this, come and get it. And then she has the match with her, and then as you would have expected, she gets attacked, shoulders busted, and then at that point it was just Harley Cameron versus Divine Dominion, and they ended up getting cooked. So yeah, but the other thing too though was I don't know if they necessarily need to go through that much effort to get the titles off of the Babes of Wrath. But
yes, agreed.
There probably could be something there with Harley being frustrated with Willow. And if they pull on that, that would be interesting. I would be.
Why?
Because Willow just made her like no reason.
Why go that route? They're a new tag team.
I mean, you don't have to. I don't think the team stays together after this, though.
Sure.
I don't think the team stays together after this.
Yeah, that seems silly to me.
Yeah, I mean, but because they're clearly
that feels like a disservice to the women's tag division.
Well, no. I mean, I actually think that where it's going is probably going to be much better because there are more tag teams now. There are more actual tag teams that have formed since the creation of the women's tag division. So I would imagine that they probably want to take it in that direction. And Divine Dominion, like what's her face, Mega Bane and Lena Cross, they're like big guy, bad guys that could really they could do like what they did with the Hurt Syndicate with the tag titles with those two and have a dominating and then build some more face champions or more face contenders rather in the meantime. Because you have to think, right? Your face contenders are Babes of Wrath, but Willow's TBS champion. And then you have Timeless Love Bombs, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. They're kind of spiraled off. And then you have the new team that just formed, Brawling Birds. So that's actually like where I think we're going toward is Brawling Birds and Divine Dominion. Sure. And I think that's quite exciting. But I don't know what happens with the Babes of Wrath. Like I don't know.
No, I'm not disagreeing with those points, but I think breaking up Babes of Wrath is
maybe they don't break up, but maybe they just go their separate ways for the time being or something like that. I don't know, but
I still think I guess, but like ready-made tag teams are hard to come by, and I hate the trope of we lose the titles, somebody has to be mad and we have to break up about it.
Yeah,
tag teams can be together for years.
Yeah, I mean FTR and Young Bucks, perfect example of that. The Usos.
And I mean, obviously they have more plans for Willow and everything like that. Solo, I
kind of see them more as like a Lucha Brothers type of joint, where it's like they'll come together when they need to, but then they'll do their thing separate. That's how. I mean, you're right. I probably shouldn't have said like maybe there's like some drama there, but definitely.
It could be, but I just think that would be a silly thing to already go into this. Oh, we're splintering and we're gonna fight. If they have their own all right, let's regroup. You go do your TBS title thing, and then I'll always support you. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think as a unit, they're a great act. They're great characters together. So don't put the knife in it.
Yeah.
Just
you don't have to end it right now. It's not necessary. Exactly. No, I do agree. And yeah, we'll see what they end up doing there with Divine Dominion. But there was also another title change. Jack Perry is the national champion now. Probably just going to continue to have more of a feud with Ricochet, I would imagine, because Ricochet wasn't pinned for the title. So we'll probably have a couple of fights here and there. Maybe one or two good fights on Collision and Dynamite. And then we'll see where things go from there. That was a fun match and a good way to kind of bleed into things. Then there was a couple of big returns and debuts. Dun dun. First return let me see if I have the picture here set up for it. First return though was the Rated R superstar Cope. He's back. Mm-hmm. And this time he brought friends. He brought his buddy. Christian Cage is back as well. That was a fun return. The crowd erupted. It was deafening in the room when he showed up, as one expects. This is also, I love the shirt. I don't know if you realize.
I loved it. Yeah.
I didn't realize what it was at first. I was like, well, wait, it says Cage. Why did he do that? No, because he has to be.
He has to be on
Cage
top.
and Cope.
Yeah.
It's not Cope and Cage.
Yeah.
It's Cage and Cope.
Yeah.
So Cage and Cope are now going to be challenging FTR for the titles. We knew that this was going to happen one way or another. I don't know if I agreed with it for the titles, but there might be a bigger elite story brewing potentially, given how things shaked out at Revolution. But how do you feel, Matt, about Cage and Cope coming back and that potentially being for the titles, and even rumors of it maybe being at Dynasty a tables, ladders, and chairs match potentially?
I mean, that could be cool. That could be like, this is what I thought was going to happen last year at All In. You know what I mean? And then injuries and stuff came into play. So, if we get it there, I mean, if we get it ahead of that, which it seems like it's going to be hard to not get there, we still have 3-4 months before All In. So, I mean, I wonder if you get like a title win for Cope and Cage somewhere in the next few months, and then but I'm excited for it because there's a lot. This is what we talk about. There's a lot of good history here that was just starting to boil over last year.
Yeah.
When injuries and everything came up between both Cope and Cage. So like there's real life history with them as friends, and stuff like that. There's the betrayal we saw on screen that we never really got paid off. So, I'm excited to get the conclusion. I think it's good.
Yeah, I think so. Also, I do want to give a special shout out to Stokely, who he is just, I mean, when he got out of the wheelchair.
Congrats on your recovery.
Yeah, I mean, so happy for him. What a guy. But yeah, when he got out of the wheelchair and like the crowd popped, that was super funny. But this moment was great.
The fucking penny loafers with no socks.
The penny loafers with no socks on the wheelchair is diabolical, man. It's too good.
Beautiful.
Oh man. So that was a big return. But then we had a big reveal because at the end of the matchup between Marina Shafir and Timeless Toni Storm, great matchup. Toni Storm picks up the win. Ronda Rousey showed up. And that was a shocker. I never would have ever in a million years thought that Ronda Rousey would be in an AEW ring.
She has been.
I mean,
she has been, but like as a that's true, but I got a major pay-per-view like this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that, because she showed up at a Ring of Honor event where she just like wrestled. So I mean, technically, but so Jake had a lot of opinions on this. He said, if you want to share those.
Let me guess.
That's my opinion. Next.
Damn it. I was going to say I send it back.
I send it back.
I send it back.
Yeah. This is one where I'm least enthusiastic about as well.
I get the box office appeal. I have zero interest.
Yes, I give as many shits about Ronda Rousey as I do about Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Which is zero.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. And it bums me out because I love Toni Storm.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not tuning in for that match because I don't fucking care.
The only thing,
because my fear is that it's just gonna be like, it's gonna be lol, Ronda wins because she was such a whiny asshole about her time in WWE, and I have to look tough all the time because I'm the best women's fighter of all time.
And she's got this freaking.
This is wrestling, you dumbass.
So
this is wrestling. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
You have respect for wrestlers, but you don't have a respect for wrestling. That's how it feels with Ronda Rousey to me, because she doesn't care about protecting the business.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about that. She cares about protecting herself. and making herself look good. And that's not somebody that I want.
What
in my
if
wrestling ring.
she actually
not.
is here to wrestle and do the thing?
Okay.
Like, because
It's not why I'm
here's the
tuning
thing.
in.
Because here's the thing. I feel the same way about Logan Paul. I will admit though, he's doing the thing. Like he's at least doing the thing. He's doing the thing. So if it's the same thing with Ronda Rousey,
I give him more credit than I do her.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's where I am not. I'm not gonna like, because I was very like anti Logan Paul, and it still am. I'm not like you said. Like I'm not like, oh my God, I really want to see Logan Paul. But I do respect that he's quite good in the ring. And actually,
he's good. And I think he gives a shit about what he's doing.
If this is
and I don't think that she does.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If I'm seeing more of like she's actually in these matches and winning and losing, and because I think there's going to be a tag team with her and Marina Shafir, which I actually quite like, because, you know, they're building up Marina Shafir more and more to be like a threat character, you know, and also if there's a possibility that she's in the Death Riders alongside Marina Shafir, I also don't hate that either. Like a Death Riders women's tag team, don't hate that concept either. But again, don't quite know if that's where they're going, because it was just Tony Storm. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't disagree. I was like one of those things where I'm like, whoa, this was not, I did not want this. I didn't think this was necessary. This kind of feels like the women's division's really good right now. So I don't know if this was the smart decision. We'll see, you know,
not narratively or creatively. Again,
yeah, it feels very ham-fisted creatively too.
Nothing is going to happen for 2 months.
I would no.
She has a fight, right?
$1 million fight in May.
That's right.
You know, multi-millions or whatever. She ain't taking bumps before then.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. They also did they say anything after her appearance? Because it's not like she's all elite or anything like that. Like there wasn't a graphic, because like they did that for Mystico. So
maybe
you know,
she shows up and does promos and stuff. I don't know, but it's like,
or maybe she's there as just like
this is.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be talking about characters and stories, and we're just talking about a woman we don't like, or not a woman, but just a person.
Well, yeah, and I think in that case,
who they are.
Yeah.
And like, let's just move on.
No, I think in that case, we just move on, because we don't really even know what's going to come from this anyway. So we'll be keeping eyes on it and see,
I don't care what comes
and
of
see
it.
what happens. Will Ospreay also returned. So he's back. That was a fun one, because I was half expecting that return to come at the end, but it makes way more sense for him to have come back when Jon Moxley had just successfully defended the Continental Championship. So Ospreay did not forget what Moxley did to him, because Moxley was the reason why his neck was injured, and they, you know, even though it was in real life, he just needed time off. But for the show, right, Moxley injured Ospreay. Ospreay had to go away for a while, came back, is now looking for blood. How does this conflict, though, with the development of Moxley kind of as this brawling good guy character that has been developing, Matt? Because this, I mean, does Mox revert back to his douchebaggery ways? What do you think happens here?
I don't know. This has been kind of the conflict, and I like non-traditional things in storytelling and more complicated dynamics. So, but this has been the thing since Mox won the Continental Classic. He kind of won that as a, you know, fierce warrior babyface, big turn last winter into the new year. But then the Death Riders, as the rest of the unit, have kind of remained pretty staunchly heel in every segment and story they've been involved in. So I think this is a classic case of, I think I'm just not a classic. It's very not classic. I want to see the match. Ospreay versus Mox is a great match. I've called that match actually. And this, but I think we're going to see, this could be maybe maybe the like where Mox breaks from the Death Riders and the Death Riders dissolve because like they're gonna want. He came out. He Will dropped the Death Riders, attacked Mox. It's tough to put a finger on because like there's part of me that goes, Death Riders want to get their hands on Ospreay now. They want to tear him apart, but Mox goes like, no. Like I get it. We did that to him. I did that to him. I'm a fighting warrior champ. I'll face him man up. But it could also be just Mox leaning into like, hey, I know what I did last year, but like out of no unprovoked kind of, you came and dropped me after a match. Like I'm going to drop you now too.
Yeah.
Like it could be less of a, but I think there's complicated dynamics here at play. I'm excited for Mox Ospreay for the Continental title potentially.
Yeah.
I would like if Mox were like, look, like you said, hey, that's not really who I am anymore. I get why you're mad.
Yeah.
But I am going to protect myself. Like that's a complicated response. And I would love something like that to come of it. But I think it's going to, I mean, it very much seems like this is the route that we're heading, is it's going to be them for the title.
Especially because like his comeback was interestingly timed or placed in the segment it was, because it's not even like Mox got the win on something or somebody beat Mox and then they jumped the baby face and were beating him up. No, it was there was a handshake between Takeshita and Mox. It was a great match. Pass out, win, where Takeshita didn't even tap or get pinned or anything. So it was a real badass kind of like two warriors, great match, a lot of respect. And that was the moment he decided, screw it. I'm just going to come and beat up everybody, even though there's nothing untoward. It wasn't the regular babyface making the save return.
Yeah. That good point. Yeah.
He was just like fed up. Now is my moment to strike, and I'm just going to go kick the crap out of him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's not a heelish thing, but it kind of is in traditional sense, wrestling sense, because I mean, it's the people who put him on the shelf, so it's justified. But
and it seems like he's clearly back for vengeance as well, right? So that is going to be, a difference in Will Ospreay, because like when he came to AEW, it was the aerial assassin, he was near perfect, winning all these big matches, international championship win, nearly wins the world title as well, almost qualifies for the world championship at All In. So it's like there was a lot that had kind of transpired for Will, but along the way, he was one of the guys who was like in the crosshairs of the Death Riders, right? Like when it came down to it, more so than anyone else, Will was the guy who was like, hey, Hangman, I have your back. That's why it makes everything that's happening with Hangman now very interesting. There were obviously a couple other results and matches at All In, but I think we should dive into, because, like Brody King and Swerve had their match. Swerve picked up the win. That came after very, very intense matchup. Tekla retained the championship over Chris Statlander. That one less shocking because I think Tekla's going on one hell of a run, and I'm all in. Then the trios titles changed hands again, which I also had a feeling was going to happen, which I don't know why I had a feeling, but I was like, there's just no way they're going to keep these belts on the Don Callis guys for too long. But curious how that plays out. Jet Speed and Mexico now are the trios champions. What comes from there, we'll find out. And then we talked about Darby. We talked about Darby and the dogs and how that played out. Let's talk about the World Championship and dive into that.
Well, also, you remember you and I created a tag team that we believe should exist based on that tornado.
Which one was it? Match. What was it again?
Strongly Squeezed.
Oh, Strongly Squeezed. That's right. Yeah, actually, yes. There needs to be a new team
with Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy.
New tag team.
Because he was just using him as a weapon for a minute, and then he hit his finisher and threw Orange on top of him for the pin. And
we were saying
it was
real quick. Yeah, we were saying like we do need to see Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy go into like bad cop, good cop, buddy cop drama type of tag team where Roderick just is really tired of Orange's shit and Orange is just lollygagging around everywhere. But all that matters is that it ends with both of them wearing the Canadian tuxedo, some denim at at All In or something like that. Just give us something. But yeah, Strongly Squeezed is that. What a name of a tag team that would be. All right, let's go ahead though and talk about the main event. Hangman Adam Page, MJF. This will close out our show for this week. I mean, unless you guys have strong feelings about Shane Taylor throwing the Rizzler down on the ground, palm fisted. What a moment!
Actually, he should have done it again.
He should have done it again. Oh man, that was fun. That was a fun way to start things off. All right, MJF, he did it. He won the damn thing. Hangman Adam Page can no longer challenge for the AEW World Championship. And I knew this was going to happen. And it all came because you guys, I was watching you guys talk about this and you were like, surely Hangman wins. You guys were like, so I was just watching you just be played like little puppets. All right. Just being played by the narrative. When it was in front of you the whole time. Because the question is, who is Hangman without the world championship? And also, the Bucks losing in LA. The Elite losing out. This was an overall like stinker night for the Elite. So Young Bucks lose. Hangman loses. Hangman can't challenge anymore. I'm curious where things go with the collective because they never really seem to be too far apart from each other. But as far as Hangman goes, he's got to figure out who the hell he is without the title. This is exciting. I think this is exciting. What do you guys think? Ooh, no one's leaping for it. All right, go for it.
So I'm interested in how they will handle, because here's the thing. I actually I'll push back a little bit on the who is Hangman without the world title. There's a lot of people who don't have the world title at any given time who know exactly who they are.
Sure.
But the thing is, there's always the possibility, right? Like I'm for my chance, for my moment. That's everybody wants the world title, women's division, men's division, whatever, tag division. You want that championship at the top of the division. So that's the thing. So like Will Ospreay, who is he without their team, AEW world title? I don't know. He's Will Ospreay. He does a million other things. And eventually he will find himself in contention for that world title when the timing is right, when he wins the right matches, etc. But that option is totally off the table. So as a viewer, I am curious. I'm like, it's kind of like there's no way, right? And like, unless he is gonna making plans to either retire or leave, not right away, but in the next year or two or whatever. He feels like an AEW lifer at this point still. So like, I hate being like the old head of like you've handcuffed the character a little bit. So I mean, I'm curious how they're gonna get creative and be like, how do you keep people? It'll be fine for a while to keep. I mean, there's so much Hangman can do as a character and everything like that, but it's hard when you have that ceiling now of like, we can just never be in this scenario of, unless they retcon it. So, which I think is lazy and unfortunate, but they can always do that. I rewrote the contract 2 years from now or whatever.
Okay. But, so a little clarification on that whole situation. The apparently what happened, according to Tony Khan I think it was at the press conference, was he said that this was a gentleman's agreement between MJF and Hangman. He said it's the same as it was with Cody. So there's no written whatever, there's no signed whatever.
It's just a man of your word.
And it's just, yes, and that's what it is. So that's gonna.
So he'd have to break his word,
right? So that's gonna have to somehow be.
I actually have a different, and yes, I have a different angle for it that I'm.
But I'm just mentioning that because I think that informs the story that can be told.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I want to be clear, like, you know, just because like other promotions have done that trope one way doesn't mean that like it needs to be done that way. It goes the same, like yes, like I understand like the whole, like it's usually been used as a means to like, you know, guy like is probably leaving the company, or, you know, it's like
to be fair, I don't think this stipulation, the only example I know is Cody.
It's been used before. It's been used before. I mean, I can't. It's not like it's not like it's some brand new thing that's came up for the first time ever. It has been done before.
I don't know anybody.
Maybe not recent memory.
That's my point. No, my point is we've seen this numerous times with, as it's always been, as long as you're champion, I can't challenge.
Yeah,
you.
now that one has been a common one too. Yeah.
But to say like I will never fight for this company's world title ever again, Cody, now Hangman. Somebody can give me an example.
Okay, well, so here's the thing. Phrasing and wording is important.
Sure.
So, Hangman said, I will never challenge for the world title as long as I live.
Yep.
Now, they took him out on a stretcher.
Yeah.
Could he have possibly died in the ring momentarily?
Did his heart stop for at least 3 seconds?
That technically that's no longer valid because his
that's his second life.
He was not alive, so the contract is null and void. And now he's alive again. Yeah. So, I mean,
there are a couple of things.
Did he beat him that badly?
That I'm curious where they go with it, because I really would like to see them have fun with how Hangman's going to get back for the title eventually, right? But something that I told Jake was, I do feel like Hangman, because he was such a prominent character in AEW, was kind of suffocating the title a little bit, in a similar way to like Tony Storm was with the women's title. Not in a bad way, I want to be clear here, because I like them with it, but I think that they both have the titles for, you know, they stories circled around the titles for a while, and you kind of need to see more new faces emerge.
Hold on.
That's where you're getting with Swerve and go on.
Why do you feel that he was suffocating
I don't think he was. I think that some people, I have been seeing folks online say that Hangman's always around the title. I don't agree with that. I want to be clear here. This is only what I have seen and read from what folks have been saying online.
I feel like he's sniffed it a few times.
He's been around it for a minute, but he hasn't been like on it. You know, it wasn't until like after Double or Nothing he wins. That's when it really like. But his story had always centered around him coming back to the top, right? Like since he came back, that was his story, right? Was like the redemption of Hangman, right? Yes. Beating his mentors, right? Jarrett, Daniels, like all that stuff. So I'm not saying that he was around it, but I'm saying he was sniffing it, kind of like to what you guys are saying. He was always like in that combo.
But he's
not around it more than anybody else, though.
I agree. I think it's odd being like, I feel like that's like saying, you know what, Batman's at the Justice League too much. Like, well, he's like one of the founding members of the Justice League. Of course, he's going to be up there. Like he's
but I don't know if the Justice League's team format necessarily relates to the show that they're trying to tell with AEW.
But
I'm
just saying, like, to say he's there to like.
Jake's right. Jake's right. I don't agree.
No, it's
I don't think the comparison's 1-to-1.
No. Not on the Justice League. Not on the Justice. But it is
okay. So long as we establish that, I don't give a shit what else is said.
Right. It is utterly preposterous to say like, oh, he's taking Hangman takes too much oxygen around the world title or whatever. He's around it too much. His story's around it too much. No, it's not more than MJF.
Yeah,
he was phenomenal, of course, in his own right, but he's been the world champion for like the most out of the last 3 years. And John Moxley had a stranglehold on it. Nobody was saying those things. And like Hangman, No,
I don't.
He's a main eventer, but he's not taking away or like he needs. We're to the point.
But what I think that this does do, though, is that it allows MJF to be able to move forward with the championship past Hangman, which I think is a good thing because he's going on a run. I mean, MJF's run has been amazing so far.
He could have done that without this stip.
Maybe, you're not wrong. I mean, you could have just with the way Hangman got brutalized at the end of that match, you probably didn't need to do the stip.
A little perspective on combined reigns for the AEW World Championship.
Yeah.
Number one is Jon Moxley, who's had the championship 4 times.
Yeah.
With a combined 620 days. Number 2 is MJF. In his second reign, he's combined over 486 days.
That's because the first reign was so long.
Yeah, 409, I think.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega, one-time champ for 346 days. And then 4th on the list is Hangman, 2 reigns, 331 days.
Yeah.
He ain't so.
No, like I said, I don't think that is the case. I have read.
Who cares what people on the internet say?
It's good. It's good for a conversation.
No,
it's good to create convo.
If none of us believe it, then like.
Well, I don't. I actually do like the idea of Hangman being away from the title, though, and I like.
Well, sure, yeah.
Helping for having it stricken from your possibilities.
Yeah, but then you also give yourself another story opportunity here. Maybe I don't know. I'm not a writer on AEW, man. Otherwise, I would do it.
If you keep doing, imagine.
Okay, but let's be honest here. Is it necessarily a bad thing to not know where this is going?
No, so I think you're missing the point here.
Oh no, I don't feel that way.
I think you are, because you're like, oh no, like he could go away. Of course, you can go away from the title. That could be written a million different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But to say someone's away from the title now forever does nothing. Nothing but handicap you. It does not help you at all.
I don't know
if you give me one. If somebody please give me one advantage it gives you.
Well, what I was going to say
you couldn't have had otherwise.
Well, and what I was going to say was it doesn't do anything for MJF necessarily. Like, because if you did the "I'll never challenge while you have it," it's the same thing anyway. Because why is MJF going to give a shit about him challenging him when he doesn't have the title? So he doesn't. So MJF doesn't gain anything by beating Hangman when that stipulation is in place.
And the only reason why he took the match was because of the stipulation.
Sure,
he wasn't going to take the match any other way because he didn't want to. So Hangman had to up the stakes in order to get the match. Like, I get what you guys are. Sorry, go on, Jake.
Well, I'm just saying, but then I feel like Hangman doesn't necessarily have anything to gain from it either. I get that it puts him away from the title picture, but for what purpose? Is it because you think that's like the weaker? Like do you need to strengthen that part of the roster, of the card, or whatever, that you feel like, okay, well, let's have Hangman just be involved in, the Continental title or the international title or the national title or the TNT title or 1,100 million other titles. Like, is that what the purpose of this is because I mean, if the question is who is Hangman without that title? Well, I mean, like, I don't know. It just feels like something that you could have still answered without him never being able to challenge for it again.
100%.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I think that it's important to remember the context of why the match happened to begin with, right? Mm-hmm. The characters, MJF never would have allowed the match unless Hangman put something like that on the line. So I think, like, from a character perspective, that all makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like that's kind of getting lost in the other stuff. But okay, so prove me wrong.
Because here's the other thing. That story works if MJF doesn't, I mean, it's a Texas death match, so I can't really say clean, but MJF beat him clean as you can get in a Texas death match. Beat the living tar out of him, didn't cheat, no underhanded tactic. They just went to war. He hung him over the rope and he passed out dead. MJF is the conquering hero.
Because one of the things
MJF had done anything, had him run over by a car early in the night, something, and then Hangman, I gambled everything.
Yeah.
And he motherfucker cheated and took everything.
Well, he did hit him with the diamond ring right at the end, and he clocked him.
Okay, but that's
they emphasized it. They emphasized it at the end of the match. But
I get that. But if it was because remember, one of the things that we kept talking about, GB, is we were wondering, how does the Don Callis family factor into this?
Yeah, that one I was a little shocked by.
Factor into this, because we kept wondering, are they going to run out? And has he paid? Because he had, like you said, was this? So the whole thing with paying them off was just to have him lose the trios title to what? To fuck with his head, I guess. And then, because that's what we thought was odd. Like, is that how we get around this whole thing? Did MJF also pay them to get involved in this? And then nothing happened with that. That would have been another thing altogether as well, if something like that had happened. But yeah, MJF overcame the odds and beat Hangman. Like, if this is about
match
in his match, like if this, so is this whole thing about Hangman's hubris? Because I feel like that was something that was already covered and answered in his previous storyline that got him to where he is now. So that's why I think it's just, it was kind of odd because he
I think that the story between the two of them has been so honestly well laid out, and they really leaned on it a lot for this. Like, there were two heroes' journeys that were happening here. And I think, like, because we look at Hangman, or rather MJF is the heel because he is, but he's also cheered and like praised and all that. So it's a little bizarre. But there are two things that are happening here, and it's the the ascension of MJF and kind of the fall of Hangman. Like the fall, like to MJF, right? To the person he hated the most, right? Because first match of All In were these two guys. Revolution last year, who opened the show? Those two guys. They butt heads always. Their paths always cross. So
for sure.
To me, sorry, go for it.
I guess, but I don't think that it raises the stakes that much having that stipulation, I guess, is my thing of like, I mean, in a way, I suppose it does. Cause like, Hangman could never challenge for it again, but like I just feel like you could have, it feels like a hat on a hat.
Yeah.
I guess
it's just that I've always viewed
you could have accomplished this. You could have accomplished, I think, the same thing. You could have pulled the same emotion. You could have gotten this. You could have gotten the same story beats out of it without having that stipulation in it. And then you don't hamstring yourself later when you're trying to tell a different story.
I want to say a couple things real fast because firstly, I think and we often do this because I don't blame us. Like we look at the situation as it's presented and then we're like, what the hell? So it makes sense, right? It's kind of like when Randy won the Royal Rumble or won Elimination Chamber, you're like, what? And then Cody wins. You're like, wait, what? What's happening here? But they end up where they end up, and we'll see where it goes. So this is kind of how I feel about it, right? Just want to be clear here. That said, I think there are a lot of really fun directions that they could take with this, right? First things first. Obviously, if Hangman ever were to challenge for the title again, it's not going to come from him, right? It's actually going to come from someone else. Someone else is going to issue the challenge to the fallen champion, who can't challenge for the title again. That's where I see this coming through. I see it being a Kenny Omega potentially, who says, listen, you wagered everything and you gave it all up. And you know what? You deserve to be in this spot. So I would like to challenge you for the title, we have seen champions challenge other contenders. Literally, Willow did that against Lena Cross, which led to her losing her tag titles. So I see that maybe happening, where it's like Kenny Omega coming along and saying fellow elite brethren, you know what, you did everything, and MJF, the guy I beat, weaseled, because I think Kenny's going to beat MJF for the title, weaseled his way out of this. And then I think that's how we kind of get past that. But then what I want to see is Hangman realizing, in a similar way to Randy Orton, this desperation of, if I lose this shit, this is it. I have to win this title. And then that's when he does what Swerve did to Kenny, but worse. And I would like to see that maybe manifest itself down the line. I think that could be very fascinating if they go that route. But if they do it like he just turns his back on the stipulation he made, then then we can shit on it until the cows come home. But give me something different. And I think that's what we're going to get.
You make a good point. I was and I was with you right until the end, because then I think it ends up being.
I mean, you could go anywhere, but I think the core of it is that
I think you're right.
Someone's going to challenge Hangman. Yes.
Who says, hey, I know you said this. I want you to have this shot. And I can see that's a great conflict for a continuing babyface Hangman of like, I can't break my word, but damn. And he's offering me an opportunity. And he does. I don't think Hangman in that situation, should it happen, has to win.
Yeah.
To your point, like, I don't think he has to turn heel and kill Kenny.
You're right. You're right. He doesn't. Yeah.
He could challenge and lose, but then he's back in contention because the bond is that stipulation's been broken. He's back in the mix because of that. Because again, to Jake's point, it's more of a word thing. It's not a contract written in law thing.
Yeah.
So if you break that cycle, he can kind of just be back in the mix.
Yeah.
So there is something there, and that could be an interesting story to follow of like, you can get this title shot. It's being handed to you by somebody you like and respect. But you break your own word to do it. Is it where, that?
Yeah.
Really
because I thought that's what they were going to do with Cody. Genuinely. I actually thought that what they were going to do with Cody was that like a face champion, probably like an elite member, would do that and be like, hey, you know what, Cody, you never had that shot, so I'm going to give it to you again. But I don't know if they were ever going to actually follow through with that, because given how everything played out. But Jake, you were going to say something? Sorry.
I could also see a situation where Swerve has the championship.
Yeah.
And says, people are saying the only reason that I'm still holding this belt is because you haven't beaten me for it.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of hearing that shit.
Hangman holds a win over Swerve.
And Swerve could say like, I'm putting an end to all this shit. I'm giving you one title shot.
I do wonder though if we're going into a Swerve as a big bad kind of thing though. It feels like we're in the building blocks of Swerve kind of reforming the embassy, maybe like doing something there. I would really like that. Because eventually we got to move on. Well, maybe we don't, but eventually the Don Callis family is going to have like a big implosion. And they're like the big team of AEW right now. And Death Riders is like them and Death Riders. So it would be kind of cool to see maybe Swerve go in that direction, but still, regardless, I would like that. I still think that whatever happens, it's going to be that. It's going to be someone says, in order for me to be the man, in order for me to be the best here, I have to beat the man. I have to beat the main character of AEW, and I think Hangman's going to go on a journey of his own where it is a matter of who is Hangman without the title. I will say, I think that Hangman's going to be off TV for a little while. I don't think that would be a bad thing. He got properly mutilated at the end of that match. So I wouldn't hate it if he's gone from TV for a little bit.
Dude, that happy accident of him hitting his head on the camera lens.
That was freaking
leaving that
brilliant.
Accident. I think?
Was it?
I'm not saying planned, but I think intentional by Hangman. I think he saw the opportunity and was like, let's see what I can get. But if it was an accident, great.
But it's just the fact that it was the perfect circle.
But it was perfect.
It was perfect either way. It was horrifying how perfect that bloodshot was.
Dude, their production for the continuous shot that they did through the barbed wire, up at them fighting on the apron was.
They're having fun with the camera angles, and everyone has. I want to be very clear here. WWE has, TNA's had their moments as well. AEW has been brilliant with it too. Like everyone's had their moments. Let cameramen cook. Okay, I work with incredible cameramen at Valorant who, whenever they get unleashed to do something, I watch them go back and watch it on the stream of the thing that they did and like cherish that moment. And I love it. We have a couple camera crew, like couple cameramen over at VCT that do the global shows for us. And we had like a Champions Paris had like its amazing coordinated performance. Cameras are very important because it was like in a transition. The camera was going to transition into like a video and then back to the camera. It was really cool, really seamless looking. And it was really dope seeing all the camera crew at the end of it go back, grab their phones and like sit down and like watch through the moments of like their work and let them cook. Okay, they're some of the best at what they do. Damn it, I really enjoyed it. There was production at Revolution was amazing. It was really impressive. But yeah, we'll talk more about production in a little bit.
Aside
because
from
we have
those fucking blue lights.
Damn it! Yeah, I was gonna save it for later, but we'll talk about it then. But I think we're good right now in Revolution. Right? Excited to see what happens on Dynamite.
I'm very curious.
Do you think MJF? Or sorry, not MJF. Do you think Hangman takes some time away from TV for a bit? I think so, right?
So.
Yeah, it makes sense.
To be honest, he got so brutalized. You can sell injuries and whatnot, and then take some time to figure
who's
out
next?
exactly.
Who's next for MJF?
Well, here's my thing. And this was going to be my kind of closing question. And it seems silly, but is MJF working? Are they working on a more organic MJF babyface run? Is this going to be a transitional run? Because like they're giving him clean wins.
Yeah.
He's being a jerk all along the way. But he's getting clean wins when they count. And he's on all these interviews and he's incredible. And like they're getting past that point. They like booing him, but they know how good he is. He's the best brawler now. When he did the Iron Man stuff with like Brian Danielson. Like he
came out in the Terry Funk pants.
Yeah,
that's such a face thing to do.
Before, when they turned him face, it was kind of the haha stuff with Adam Cole. It was kind of a gaga and like fun, character.
Tongue in cheek.
But this is like, can you be a baby face by being the just old, like heel MJF, but getting over with it, Eddie Guerrero style, if you will, of like I'll cheat, and I'm not gonna be softer. I'm still gonna be as barbing. I'm still gonna insult you as much. But like, I'll just be the crowd favorite, maybe even fight heels on these shows. I don't know. It feels like they're just building him, stacking him these wins. He's not cheating. Like he is a little bit sometimes, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. He's still the scumbag.
But like this was a definitive win in the environment against the guy who popularized the match in AEW kind of. So like, I don't know. It seems very strong for a heel. So I feel like it could be a weird tweener ground they're kind of working towards with him.
I think that they're going toward him and Swerve at Dynasty. And I think that's where the changeover is going to happen. Because Swerve is like clearly going like full on, like I need to become the worst version of myself to win this belt back. And MJF is like, I'm winning being the best version of myself that I've ever been. So I'm going to keep doing this thing because I'm having a grand old time.
Keep doing me.
Yeah. And Swerve is like, no, I need to murder you in order to like get the championship. He's like, hey, man, the last guy tried to murder me too. So like, hey, good luck to him. I cheered over his dead body. So like, I really am excited by that prospect. And you're right, MJF, he's going on one hell of a run. And also, too, I think he's in a really good position right now for AEW. He's doing all these interviews. He's being more of a face of the company than I think Hangman was, to be honest with you. And I think, like, for a narrative sense, you could really run with that. You could really have a good time with it. Also, do want to give MJF a shout out for licensing the name Big Hebrew. That is, he had it on the back of his jacket. It says Big Hebrew. It's just fucking brilliant, man. Dude is, he leans into it in the best ways. Revolution was a crazy show, long show. Apropos, though, of this episode, it was a long episode, so you got a lot of it. To the folks who complained we didn't talk a lot about AEW this week, hopefully you're good and you're satisfied. We covered some AEW. All right. But yeah, good to be back with you guys as always. Let's go ahead, though, and dive into the most important segment of the show. Some might say it's the rebook. Wait, the graphics not working. No. Oh, no. Wait a minute. This is embarrassing. It's been a while since I've done the show. So, I need to make sure there it is. Rebook 24/7 champion of the week. This, of course. Oh, wait. This, of course, is the time where we talk about the thing that brought us the most joy in or it's just a thing that happened to us, because that's what mine is going to be. Because I was so excited for this event. I was pumped. I sat through the seating websites, went through all the different things to make sure that we got good seats, to make sure we had a good view, and we got a good deal. $62 a ticket. All right, it was a good deal. I loved it. All right.
$62.50.
$62.50. Sorry, but
$62.50.
Unfortunately,
this asshole charged me $4.50 more than
I know. I said 67 or so.
67.
67.
So I sent him 67.
What? You did? No, you shouldn't have. Okay, I'm gonna send you that money back.
I wrote on the description, I'm giving you 67 so I can hold it over you.
I guess so. You're gonna have to hold it over me even more so, because at this event, this damn blue light.
Oh, man.
What? Not leave us alone. My Rebooked 24/7 champion is the people in the crowd who were chanting nonstop, "Fuck the blue light." They were clapping that. It had
for most of the show, I wore sunglasses.
Yeah. For most of the show,
that's how bad it was.
It was and I tried, nothing. It did. A bunch of people tried tweeting and posting at AEW. Nothing changed. Was still able to watch the show and everything, but good Lord, this light was bright. Come on, guys, get your shit together next time. But yeah, that my Rebooked 24/7 champion are the people around it who hated the blue light. That's what I have.
Solidarity.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I believe in collectivism and solidarity. That was exactly what that was. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go. Mine's really quick. It's I guess it technically hasn't happened yet, but as of this dropping, it'll be 24 hours away. My hype this week, let's go back to the video game world. I'm in. I'm hooked. Crimson Desert comes out this week on Thursday. Yeah. And I have it pre-ordered. I haven't pre-ordered anything since Cyberpunk. Yikes.
Well,
that's not learned apparently.
And I mean, way better now.
Right.
But
True.
no,
So
this
good.
one it's looked good the whole way. They keep showing more and more of it. They've shown it on every possible console now and system, and it looks awesome. It just looks like a fun world to get lost in. I'm really excited about it. I'll probably do a big stream of it on Thursday. But just a fun sandbox, kind of thing. I'm excited.
Yeah. Damn. This looks great. You know what I hope this isn't? Because when I was younger, there was an MMO that dropped called Aeon that everyone was stoked on. And everyone was like, this game's going to be the World of Warcraft killer. It's going to be amazing, blah, blah. And I remember playing it, and it looked great. But then I remember the character creation just being freaking weird, because you were able to make all these weird ass like shapes or whatever, like Arc, where you were able to go crazy with the character design. And then I hit level 15, and then it became the worst grind fest I ever played in my life. I assume these aren't like that, right? It's like more.
No,
it's like
this
more
is a single player.
Yeah. It's a single player. This is an MMO.
Yeah. Oh no, it started as an MMO.
It was an MMO. Okay.
BDO is still their MMO, Black Desert Online.
Yeah.
But this was going to be like another MMO or a sequel MMO, and they just said, you know what? Let's just do a single player. I think we can make it optimized more, and they did. But there's still almost as much stuff to do. You can farm, you can do quests, you can explore everything. It's like Tears of the Kingdom level exploration and huge. it's not super narrative intensive, which is what they warned people. Like, I don't think it's going to be Red Dead level story, but as far as just a world and sandbox and things
You could just get
can
lost
do,
in.
and like the combat is really, really good. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like, I'm looking at some of these screenshots and holy moly. Like,
what you get for not using Unreal Engine.
yeah. Yeah, I guess so. What are they using? What engine are they using?
Their own proprietary Black Space engine.
That's why, man. You know, people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it, but Unreal, you know, little problem in the gaming space. People don't want to accept it. These, third-party engines. People have been complaining, why do all these games feel so similar? And it's because they're all using the same assets from Unreal Engine, and they're retweaking them. And a lot of like visuals, the way game plays, menu, everything, like a lot of it feels very similar. Really good. I'm excited for this. Should be fun. Jake, what's your 24/7 champ?
I'll be quick. I got two. One of them is the churro I had at Revolution.
Fire. That thing was fire.
Oh my God.
It was incredible.
Look, I'm a sucker for a churro. It's hard to find an environment in which churros are prevalent, but there was one I refuse to call it Crypto. It was a Staples Center. It was warm. It had a nice crunch on it.
It had no business being as good as it was.
It was like as long as my forearm too. It was like a good size.
Yeah.
It was a good size churro.
I should have got back for more.
It was worth the money. I think it was like $6 or $7, but like I would pay $6 or $7 for that churro again. Yeah. It was good. The churro was one of my nominees, but my real nominee is something else that happened to us at Revolution. We met a fan.
Oh,
we met
man.
a fan of the show. They are in our Discord.
The Crow, right? I believe
it's the Crow.
Yep.
Oh, yes. I saw them comment.
Yeah. Came up to us, said he recognized us, wanted to say
recognize
he loved
Jake.
The show.
Recognize Jake.
Look, I didn't want to say it, but I didn't want to say it, but he recognized me. Understandable. But yeah, so my 24/7 nominee for the first time ever is a fan of the show. The Crow gets my 24/7 championship nominee.
You know what? I'd like to give it to the Crow as well. Crow,
let's go.
You are our first ever fan Rebooked 24/7 champion of the week. Congratulations, the Crow. What do you win? Absolutely nothing. Just a pat on the back.
Cursed.
Whoa. We don't have to do that.
Win. That's right. We flipped the script on you, fans. Take that, fans.
Wow. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that.
That I was recognized. All right.
Well, that's a good place to end it there, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Go join. We're doing I did a bracket pool for the NCAA tournament. I put the link in Meat Sports channel on our Discord.
Join it.
The last day, if you're listening right now on Wednesday, Thursday is when it all starts. That's when the tournament starts. So get your brackets in. It's on ESPN.com. You can also just search for Rebooked Wrestling Podcast Pool, and you should see it on there. Awesome. So go join. It'll be fun.
All right, go join the Rebooked Wrestling March Madness bracket. You can find that info on Meat Sports in our Discord. You can join our Discord it's really simple. All you got to do is go to www.rebookedpod.com. There you can find links to everything, or you can check it out in the description down below. That's right. It's right there. Description on YouTube, as well as on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you decide to listen to your audio goodness. That is going to do it for us. We thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to Scan as well for holding double duty on editing as well as live production while I was away. Dude is an absolute beast, and I know he's editing the video right now. He has no other choice but to listen to me praise him. Suck it, bro. But that is going to do it for us, guys. We'll see you next week for more Rebook goodness. Catch you soon. Peace, everyone.